The New York Giants down in Indianapolis, and coming up we'll hear from Peyton Manning's brother Eli about his second trip to the Super Bowl.
And record-breaking crowds, why events here in Indianapolis are drawing more people than past Super Bowls.
And the weather is really warming up for visitors downtown. I'll show you how high the temperatures will get and when we'll get cold again.
From Indiana's news leader, your Super Bowl station. Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock starts now.
Evening, everyone, and welcome to the NFL Experience in downtown Indianapolis. The game is not until Sunday, but the Super Bowl festivities have begun. I'm John Stair.
And I'm Andrea Moorhead. Again, as John said, we are live at the NFL Experience inside of the Indiana Convention Center, and the crowds continue to get bigger and bigger by the minute.
And good evening. We're outside in the Super Bowl Village along Georgia Street. Crowds gathering here as well. I'm Scott Swan.
And I'm Anne-Marie Tiernan. Another beautiful day today. A little gusty winds, as you can see. Things are blowing around. But still, the arrival today of the Giants, our top story tonight. And John and Andrea have that for us now. John?
That is the big story. In fact, just a couple of hours ago, the Giants stepped off their plane at the Indianapolis International Airport. We have video of the team getting off the plane for you today, and they're now at the Marriott Hotel in downtown Indianapolis. That's where they'll be staying this week.
Now, players, of course, including quarterback Eli Manning, they are all speaking to the media this afternoon. In fact, that is taking place live, but this is what he had to say just a moment ago. Let's take a listen to Eli Manning, quarterback of the New York Giants.
You don't think about that as a player. I think you concentrate on the opponent, and that's New England, trying to get ready for them. Try to keep your mind focused on the job and you know what your performance is going to take, what type of style of football it's going to take to win this game. And if you get concerned with other things, I think that takes your focus off what your job has to be for this coming Sunday. So I think that's the mindset of the players, the coaches. It's not it's just trying to get ready, focused to go out there and play your best football.
Eli Manning sounding like he's focused on the game and trying to put the rest of it out of his mind, the fact that he's the surrogate for Peyton in the Super Bowl this year.
In fact, you know, John, I had a chance to talk to folks out here today, and they're all saying, okay, so the Colts didn't make it in, but at least there is a Manning, so they're still happy.
Well, it's hard to find a Patriots fan among the crowd around here now.
You're absolutely right. Let's now talk about some of the stories that you're going to be seeing throughout the entire evening, throughout the next from 5 until 6:30 tonight. Coming up this half hour,
I'm going to challenge some folks here at the NFL Experience. Tonight we're going to take a look at how I stack up in the field goal kicking competition.
Also at 5:30 tonight, we're going to introduce you to a couple of Super Bowl volunteers. They're going to tell us why this event is old hat to some of these longtime helpers.
And at 6 o'clock tonight, our Super Bowl insider, Rich Van Wyk, will help you find a way around those long lines at all the events here at the NFL Experience.
You know, I look at the crowd here and I'm thinking, did the kids go to school today or what?
Well, you know, it started to get a lot more kid-heavy after 3 o'clock when the schools let out today. A lot of Hoosiers here right now. I did see a couple of New England Patriots fans in the crowd today. Couple of Giants fans, but still primarily a Hoosier crowd down here downtown today.
The excitement continues to build. Let's now go outside of the Indiana Convention Center onto Georgia Street, where Scott Swan and Anne-Marie Tiernan are standing by live with more from there. Take it away, guys.
Well, you know, the crowds are growing steadily in the last hour now, and you know, we're talking about this being a Hoosier crowd, and the host committee today saying, in fact, that the events downtown have been so popular that they've set record attendance records already.
Yeah, part of that is because of a $5 discount given to people that show up at the NFL Experience wearing Colts gear today. But there's a lot of activity happening in the Village tonight. We've got music going on, the zip line's going, and we've got a dry evening, so that can only help things. City Beat reporter Mary Mills joins us live from the Super Bowl Village to talk about why so many people are coming to the events downtown. Mary?
Hey, Scott. Well, I think certainly the weather has helped. Also, this is a first-time event for Indianapolis. First time we've hosted the Super Bowl, and people, they want to be a part of it. They want to see what's going on downtown. So they've come down in large numbers, and they're certainly not worried about waiting in long lines either.
We got all kind of space heaters. We got a coffee maker. We got people that love Indianapolis that want to go down the zip line.
So much so that they began standing in line before 8 a.m. for tickets that wouldn't go on sale until 3 p.m.
Missed out yesterday. I was in line and I ran out of tickets, and so I said I'm getting down early today.
People waiting hours for a 45-second ride. The opening weekend crowds, estimated at 200,000, exceeded expectations.
I think at any given time, sometimes we're excited and a little overwhelmed at how many people are there at the same time.
Also surprised and thrilled at the big crowds this weekend, downtown restaurants. Hooters posted record numbers Saturday with sales up 200%. Ashley McKellen never took a break.
There was just people everywhere. I've never seen it like this before. I've never seen downtown this crazy.
And starting Thursday, the crowds will only get bigger.
You know, we're bringing in extra staffing from the surrounding markets, Ohio, our stores in Indiana, northern Indiana.
Hoping to beat the crowds, thousands of people came to Super Bowl Village Monday long before anything opened.
I want to come back when they open up, but I wanted to get down here to get some pictures and stuff early so I could see what it was like.
And talking about the crowds, the NFL Experience saw 99,000 people go through those doors this weekend. That was a record number of people for the NFL Experience. The host committee says if you want to come down, the best thing to do is come down either tomorrow or Wednesday, because after that, all the out-of-towners will be here, and it is going to get even more crowded. Scott and Ann?
All right, Mary, thanks so much. And because this is a Monday evening and the rush hour is underway and all the activities, you know traffic's got to be an issue.
That's right. And so this week we have Mimi Pierce in Chopper 13 keeping an eye on the traffic for you, because, of course, when you go to work, you want to know what's the best way to get home and what are some of the tie-ups that are underway at this hour. Mimi, what do you see right now?
Well, right now we see a big mess on the city's near West Side. We knew that West Street was going to be tough this week, and it is. You're looking at tangled up traffic right now. A live look now from Chopper 13. This is a look at the southbound lanes of West Street that continue on south down by the JW Marriott. You can also see the traffic there coming northbound along that stretch. Really seem to be knotting up here with the afternoon mix. Some folks just heading into downtown here on West Street. A live look at New York and West Street. That is also, you can see that IMPD officers are trying to assist with traffic in this area, but definitely going to find our challenges throughout the week, especially with the nice weather. More and more folks headed into the downtown area, and as a result, we're seeing a whole lot of traffic mixing in with the afternoon rush hour. A look now as traffic backed up there southbound along West Street, stretching back towards the I-65 interchange, not quite to the I-65 interchange, but this is probably the messiest area right now on the near west side of downtown. Now we're going to send it back downtown.
All right, Mimi, looking at those images, it's hard to believe that really the best advice is to come down Monday and Tuesday, that it's only going to get worse Thursday and Friday. But we're going to be keeping an eye on traffic throughout the week. Of course, also keeping an eye on the weather. 56 degrees right now.
I mean, this is unbelievable weather, and we're only going to get warmer, right?
This is Chamber of Commerce weather. We've been worrying about this thing for about a year and a half now and what the weather is going to do. And today, the average high, 37 degrees. We made it well into the 50s today, and it was a nice dry day. The big problem we have now is a little bit of wind. Take a look at live Doppler 13 radar. No rain or snow to deal with, so we're going to stay dry tonight. So come on downtown and enjoy the party this evening. 58, the high today here in the state capitol. Also 58 in Bloomington, and 57 today's high temperature in Columbus. For the remainder of this evening, we're going to stay with the gusty winds right now coming out of the southwest. That southwest air bringing in the warmer temperatures in. We're going to find temperatures falling through the 40s on through the evening, staying well above freezing with the wind chill in the middle 30s to near 40. But let's look ahead to tomorrow night across Indiana. Here comes the fly in the ointment, but we're talking about some rain coming through central Indiana. Coming up in the SkyTrack 13 forecast, I'll give you an idea of how much rain to expect, and also when we'll see a chance of snow coming up in our forecast. All that coming up a bit later. For now, let's go back inside to John and Andrea.
All right, thanks so much, Chris. You know, John, you don't see as many people walking around with coats today. That's a good thing.
I'll tell you, it is like spring out there
really
today.
Well, you know, we are your eyes and your ears to all of the action here at the Super Bowl Village, as well as the NFL Convention Center.
And coming up tonight, tune into Channel 13 at 7:30 for Indy's Super Week. We're going to be coming to you all night or every day this week at 7:30. And tonight, I had a chance to go back and see Jimmy Fallon a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to talk to him about bringing his show to Indianapolis and take a behind-the-scenes look at his show as it's done in New York City.
And also we're going to take a look at how Indianapolis went from just wanting a Super Bowl to actually hosting one. We're going to take you all the way back to about 4 years ago when we first put the bid in.
And we have a featured that I think you'll like, Super Bowl trivia.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll premiere that tonight at 7:30. Again, Indy Super Week right here on Channel 13.
I call the Super Bowl trivia kind of stump the chump. I
Yeah,
love that
there
when
you
I
go.
do that with you. Well, of course, there's some other news to talk about this afternoon.
Let's go back to our studios. Chris Kirshner is standing there with that. Chris?
All right, John and Andrea, thank you. Yeah, the two men accused of murdering a young Indianapolis girl and her uncle won't face the death penalty. The Marion County prosecutor will instead seek life sentences without parole for Michael Bell and Jeremy Priel. Both face 4 counts of murder in the December 2011 shooting deaths of 7-year-old Kylie Crane and 21-year-old Jeremy Crane. Prosecutors believe the two were killed during a robbery attempt at their home in Cumberland. Both suspects are due back in court Wednesday. Tougher penalties await anybody who might try to bring underage prostitutes to Indianapolis ahead of this week's Super Bowl. Governor Mitch Daniels just signed a law making it easier to prosecute sex trafficking cases involving victims under the age of 16. Those crimes would now carry sentences of 20 to 50 years in prison. Cases involving older victims will also face tougher penalties. The bill passed with unanimous support out of the Indiana House and Senate. Indiana's controversial right-to-work law is on track for what will likely be a final vote Wednesday. The Senate Labor Committee endorsed that bill today, sending it to the floor. The committee's 3 Democrats boycotted that vote. The controversial legislation would prohibit any contracts between companies and unions that make union membership mandatory. Supporters say right-to-work makes Indiana more attractive to companies. Critics say it's a political attack to weaken unions and will ultimately mean lower wages. The City County Council will vote on an expanded smoking ban tonight for just the city of Indianapolis. But the Indiana House also considering a statewide ban on smoking. Friday, the House added an 18-month exemption to the proposed ban that would allow smoking to remain in bars. Lawmakers also added a broader exemption for casinos, which would make it possible to smoke anywhere on their property. Well, those are the latest headlines here. We're going to head back out now to John and Andrea at the NFL Experience at the Indiana Convention Center.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. Well, as you can imagine, there are a lot of events and activities going on in downtown Indianapolis, and people can be a little confused about where is it, how much is it. Guess what? You have a lot of questions. We have the answers. We're going to share those with you coming up next at 6.
And did you notice that gas prices are up around central Indiana? Does the Super Bowl have anything to do with that? Suspicious. We're going to answer that question coming up at 5:30.
And also at 6 o'clock tonight, we're going to take you live inside of the Super Bowl Media Center, where stations from around the world, they are going to be sitting down with players and other celebrities to ask and answer questions with them.
But first, I'm going to take on a challenge here at the NFL Experience. See if I am able to kick a field goal.
Ooh. That was a tease. You got to wait, come back and wait and see if he
see if it made it over the crossbar. Chris?
And warmer weather is on tap. I'll show you how much warmer it's going to get, but I'm also tracking rain and snow on the way. More on that when Eyewitness News at 5 continues.
Gas prices are up across central Indiana, but is the Super Bowl to blame?
From Indiana's news leader, your Super Bowl station. Eyewitness News at 5:30 starts now.
And we'll tell you what's causing those gas price spikes coming up in just a moment. But first, again, we're live in the Super Bowl Village in downtown Indianapolis. I'm Scott Swan.
And I'm Anne-Marie Tiernan. Thanks for joining us tonight for Eyewitness News live coverage at 5:30. People are gathering here in the Super Bowl Village for the live entertainment tonight. Bands are performing right now, culminating with the Village people tonight.
Be on stage introducing
That's
the Village
right.
people.
I think I might kind of have some fun and start a little early YMCA. What do you think?
Go.
You got to.
Get
You
the crowd
got to.
ready. We're inside the NFL Experience. I'm John Stair.
And again, I'm Andrea Moorhead. Again, we're going to come back and show you all of the fun activities inside of the NFL Experience in just a moment. But first, let's go back outside of Georgia Street and the Super Bowl Village with Anne-Marie and Scott. Take it away, guys.
All right, Andrea, John, thanks so much.
We want to let you know what's coming up tonight at 5:30. We are covering the Super Baskets of Hope. Lots of volunteers got together today over at Bankers Life Fieldhouse to assemble these baskets to send to young patients at hospitals all across the country.
And we'll also be introducing you to a couple who've made volunteering at Indianapolis sporting events a real habit. And tonight we'll show you what they're doing at the Super Bowl.
Plus, our sports director, Dave Calabro, joins us live after he spoke today one-on-one with former Colts coach Tony Dungy.
You may have noticed that around town as you're driving around that you've seen gas prices go up, and you might be thinking perhaps that, well, maybe the Super Bowl might be to blame. So we went ahead and sent out our investigative reporter, Steve Jefferson, who joins us live to tell us what he discovered. Steve?
Price of gasoline here at the Shell at 60th Illinois is $3.36 for regular unleaded. It's higher in other places. Now, some of the drivers are asking if the Super Bowl is driving up gas prices.
Seems like somebody's cheating somewhere.
As Todd Humphrey filled up his pickup with regular unleaded at $3.44 a gallon, he's wondering what's influencing the higher prices.
It's $3.06 in Seymour, and it's $3.44 here, so I have no idea.
I just got to roll with the flow.
Trina Taylor told us she noticed cheaper gas even closer than Seymour, just on the other side of town.
East side is cheaper than the south side, so I usually go on 34th and Keystone and get my gas at the Marathon because it's really cheap over there.
Right now, the price of regular gasoline is holding at $3.44 here at this Marathon. The drivers we talk to tend to think the Super Bowl is having an impact on prices. Either way, they have to budget for it.
I've got a little Nissan 350Z, and I put premium in it, so, you know, $50 a week, I go through that pretty quick.
Scott Imus from the Convenience Store Association calls $3.44 a gallon a fair market price, and anything cheaper is a bargain. He believes the United Nations scrutiny over Iran will continue to impact the price at the pump.
Are we being gouged? Is it because of the Super Bowl? Or?
No, that's probably a pretty fair price based upon the wholesale cost.
Either way, consumers can still report gas stations they suspect with unfair prices.
What we do with that complaint from there is we look at what the average price is, we compare it to what the prices are that we see at the retail market.
And Bolton promises the Attorney General will investigate every complaint about the price at the pump. And of course, you can always use the Pump Patrol at WTHR.com to find the best prices. We want to know your gas search experience. Share it with us on our Facebook page. Back to you in the Super Bowl Village, Scott and Anne Marie.
All right, Steve Jefferson reporting live. Thanks so much.
And Mayor Greg Ballard joins us now live, and thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
You're making news today with your comments about ready for the next Super Bowl in Indianapolis, and we haven't even had the first one yet. What sparks that comment from you?
Yeah, I was kind of joking initially about I'll give them a week before we start playing in the next Super Bowl, but I do want people to think, because I've heard the term once in a lifetime, and I don't want people to think like that. I think we can do this on a rotational basis, and maybe not every 4 to 5 years, but maybe every 8 to 10 years, and I think we need to be envisioning that sort of thing.
All right, Mayor, very good. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Continued good luck with the rest of the events.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, let's go back to John and Andrea inside.
Oh, and Chris Kirshner, who's got the other news of the day. Chris?
That's right, guys. Thanks a lot. Yeah, some other headlines today. Police in Kokomo are investigating another shooting today. It's the 5th in 5 days in that city. 23-year-old Toreen Jones is in critical condition today. A 17-year-old now accused of shooting him in the head yesterday. Now, police do not believe this crime is related to the shooting of 4 people Wednesday and Thursday. 2 people died, 2 others were injured. A friend told police Tarama Stitz was off his medication for several days. The suspect told police he believed the victims were trying to kill him. Stitz has a court hearing scheduled for tomorrow. The only survivor of a roadside bombing in Afghanistan that killed 4 members of an Indiana National Guard unit has undergone another surgery to repair severe damage to his face. Surgeons worked for 5 hours to implant titanium plates in Private Doug Rockowitz's face. The 30-year-old Hammond soldier was injured by a roadside bomb January 6th in Afghanistan. 4 other soldiers, including Staff Sergeant Jonathan Metzger of Indianapolis, were killed. A state program created to help Indiana residents avoid foreclosure is seeing few takers. The state's hardest hit fund was designed to provide eligible homeowners forgivable 10-year loans that come from a federal grant. But the Evansville Courier-Press reports even though there's enough money to help more than 13,000 homeowners, only 651 applied by the end of last year. All right, those are the headlines here. Let's check back in now at the Super Bowl Village with Scott and Ann and a look at what's coming ahead, guys.
All right, Chris, thanks so much.
You know, this is one of my favorite projects. It was one of the legacy projects. Volunteers getting together today to put together a basket to send hope to children at hospitals all across the country.
And coming up next on Eyewitness News at 5:30, we'll introduce you to a couple who have made helping out a habit.
But first, a super effort around the city and why two of the volunteers are no strangers to helping out.
Welcome back to this special edition of Eyewitness News. You know, it takes a super effort to host 150,000 fans for Super Bowl 46, and that includes 8,000 volunteers who gladly give up their time to make sure Indianapolis puts on a good show. Two of them I found are no strangers to lending a hand right here in the Circle City.
It is the experience of a lifetime for many Hoosiers, whether they dare to ride the zip line or try their skills on the gridiron. It's about being a part of the biggest sporting event in this city's history.
I'm excited as anybody else.
But for Milo and Betty Jo Vanek, it's also the culmination of a lifelong passion.
It keeps you busy, it keeps you lively, and as you get older, you try to stay younger.
Married nearly 60 years, this Indianapolis couple spent the majority of their life together in service to others.
Any basketball thing they've had come in, 500 Festival, we do things at the Speedway. Salvation Army, we do a lot of work. 619.
This week, they'll be donating their time handing out wristbands and helping to herd the hordes of fans headed to the popular NFL experience. Two of a team of 8,000 volunteers helping out for the Super Bowl.
You get to meet a lot of nice folks, and golly, we met people like at events, and they want to know about Indianapolis, and hey, we're proud living in Indianapolis. And
they've spent the past 20 years helping out on major sporting events like the Big Ten and the Final Four. Never once paid for their efforts.
And I've talked to people from Massachusetts, California at a lot of these events, and that sort of is a reward within itself, I think.
While being among throngs of football fans may keep many people away, it's what they live for. Representing what may be this community's greatest asset, Hoosier hospitality.
Yeah, putting in a lot of time there. And you can see Betty Jo and Milo in action at the NFL Experience this week. We'll take you back to the NFL Experience here a little bit later on in the newscast. But for now, we want to go out to the Super Bowl Village with meteorologist Chris Wright, who's probably getting a lot of pats on the back tonight, I imagine. Chris?
Yeah, it's nice to be out here when the weather's nice. I don't know if I'd want to be out here if we had 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground or heavy snow coming in. Now, the average high this time of year is in the middle 30s. We made it up into the 50s today. And take a look at radar. Best of all, nothing going on live Doppler 13 radar right now, so we don't have any rain or snow showers on the way. But look at how warm it was today. 55 in Richmond, 56 in Lafayette, up to 58 for the high here in the state capitol today. 20 degrees above average. We will take that anytime. Now in the evening forecast, 7 o'clock temperature at 50. 9 o'clock at 45, and by 11 o'clock down to 42 degrees. We're going to keep the winds gusting out of the southwest, and that's going to make it feel a little bit cooler. So dress for temperatures in the 40s if you're coming down tonight. Tomorrow, another unseasonably mild day. The high temperature at 60. We'll see some rain developing tomorrow night into Wednesday. We'll start cooling down on Wednesday with the rain, the high at 54. Back in the 40s on Thursday and Friday. And our next system coming by over the weekend is going to move by just down to our south. That's going to bring some rain and snow showers into central Indiana Friday night into Saturday, but we're talking a light moisture, not a major snow. The high temperature at 42 on Saturday. And for Super Bowl Sunday, we'll have some clouds around, possibly a few flurries, especially early in the day. It is going to be colder with a high temperature at 38 degrees, but we're talking cooling down, and we're still keeping temperatures above freezing. So a nice week of weather is going to continue for us as we head on toward the weekend. Now let's go on over to Ann and Scott.
Let's go right on over here. All right, thanks, Chris. We're not fooling them with that shot tonight, buddy. All right. Thank you for that. Of course, this is all about the football game, yes, and the Giants arrived in town this afternoon.
Eli Manning and the rest of his teammates in Indianapolis getting ready for Super Bowl 46. Dave Calabro has that for us tonight. Hi, Dave.
Oh, yeah, there is that game, isn't there? It's the Giants, the Patriots. We're outside the Giants team hotel. We'll tell you what's going on here. Plus, Tony Dungy's take on Peyton Manning's future. You may be surprised by what he has to say. Live from downtown Indianapolis. We'll be right back.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your Super Bowl station.
Now, if you want to come down here to the NFL Experience, there are two things you have to bring a lot of: patience and money. Now, this is why you need the patience. See that? Long lines waiting to get in. These folks waiting here to run the 40-yard dash. And then, as I said, a lot of money. Over there is the concession stand. And I don't have to tell you, feeding a family of 4 here is going to be a little bit pricey. Let's go to our Super Bowl insider, Rich Van Wyk. He's on Georgia Street with some ideas on how to beat the lines and how to get some cheap food. Rich?
John, the insider is outside. Thousands of people, tens of thousands of many of them families coming down here to have a good time, but they want to save a couple of bucks. They want to bypass some of those lines. 2 out of 3, pretty easy. The third one a little tough and kind of expensive.
What's up, Dick Van Wyk?
If you're looking for a quick thrill but don't have a ticket, get in line hours early. All the available zip line tickets are being snapped up even before the ride opens.
We've been here since 8 o'clock this morning, and we're going to be here till 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Tickets to the NFL Experience are still available online. Buy them in person, though, and save $3. If the ticket office is closed, use the nearby kiosks.
We got tickets, fellas.
If you want to avoid long lines and get special access to special events, an additional NFL Extra Pass gets you there for another $46.
I think I'd pass on that.
You don't want to spend another $46 to go to the head of the line?
No, that's quite all right.
Like thousands of others, the Mangus family knows you don't get something for nothing.
I'm not really thinking about the money.
What about Dad?
I'm always worried about money.
Who wouldn't be, with 3 kids to feed?
In the Village, on the street, a burger, fries, and a bottled soda will set you back $16.
At the food court in Circle Center Mall, fans are eating for about half that price.
I want something really good.
It's good Dunkin' Donuts prices haven't changed at all.
$5 for all this.
And right on Georgia Street, hot box pizza is still just $4 a slice. And do you really need more than that if you plan to fly like this?
Can you imagine the lift line after pepperoni and extra cheese? I don't think so. Actually found some free stuff inside NFLX. Go back in the tent, check the Pepsi area, free Pepsi and Doritos. Look under the big M&M sign. They've got plain and peanut. What a deal, people. Scott, Ann, Chris, how you doing up there?
Yeah, that's a good deal. And if tomorrow, if you wear a Colts jersey, you get $5 off your admission into the NFL Experience, too.
And you really don't need to wear a coat over that.
No, you just get out there in a sweatshirt and the jersey, you'll be fine. We've got a little bit of a chill in the air right now across Indiana, some gusty winds going on across the state, but the weather was fantastic today. High temperatures well above the average of 37. On radar right now, no rain or snow showers, but we do have some of that coming our way. Take a look at high temperatures across the state today, all the way up to 58 here in the state capital. Average high this time of year in the middle 30s, so well above average today. Going to see another nice day tomorrow. There's the view of the JW Marriott Hotel right now, the media headquarters for Super Bowl 46. Right now, 53 degrees of the south-southwest wind, gusting at 22 miles per hour, making it feel a little bit colder out there, but we all know it can be a whole lot worse this time of year. Tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up the temperatures in the 30s, but we will be above freezing to get our Tuesday started. Clouds roll in during the day on Tuesday, but I think the rain is going to hold off until Tuesday night. Put Future Track 13 into motion and show you the clouds that we're going to deal with during the day tomorrow. And then check out those Tuesday temperatures. It is going to be another nice mild day. In fact, we get enough sunshine through the midday hours filtering through those clouds. We'll see the high temperature make it to 60 by 3 o'clock coming up tomorrow afternoon. Then Tuesday night into Wednesday, we'll get some rain going across central Indiana. The rain moves in after 8 o'clock, but temperatures again well above freezing, so we're not talking about icing on the roadways. About a quarter-inch of rainfall coming through early on Wednesday morning. We'll see some clouds, then more sunshine coming up on Wednesday afternoon. In your Wednesday planner, we'll find it just a little bit cooler with a high temperature at 54. Temperatures fall a bit coming up on Wednesday afternoon. In our 7-day extended forecast, looking ahead to your weekend, a chance of rain and snow showers showers around on Saturday. Dry weather for us coming up on Super Bowl Sunday. We'll find the temperature 38 degrees with clouds and flurries for the game day. In our 7-day extended forecast, the high temperature drops from 60 on Tuesday into the 50s on Wednesday, then high temperatures in the 40s for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And for Super Bowl Sunday, we'll see a few clouds around and a few flurries. A cooler day with a high temperature at 38 degrees. Nice and dry for us tonight across Indiana with some gusty winds. Well, we do have some changes coming up over the next couple of days. Now let's go to Dave Calabro at the Giants Hotel.
Thanks a lot. Hey, that's right. This is the place to be, the Marriott. The Giants checking in earlier this afternoon. Pretty interesting to see what happened. Fans storming the lobby, trying to get autographs. We happened to be there earlier today. Check this scene out as Eli Manning arrived on the scene about 4:45. This is finally in a secured area. We take you behind the scenes here. The national media coming out in force to see Manning and the rest of the Giants. We counted over 40 TV cameras in the room at once. It was mayhem in there. Eli excited to be here, right here in Peyton's second home.
Peyton has been a great big brother to me and been very helpful and you know, in my process or my progression as a quarterback, whether through college, through the NFL, just supporting me. Giving me any tips that he could think of coming in, especially my first couple years. We've had a very close relationship, and I thank him, for all that he's provided me and helping me become a better quarterback.
All right, coming up on our special report tonight at 7:30, much more with Eli Manning right here in Indianapolis. While the Giants arriving, the Patriots already had their first practice today. A lot of people say this is a rivalry game after the Giants won this thing 4 years ago, but Mr. Belichick says that's not the case.
But I see this game as this game. And again, there aren't really all that many people that played in the last game 4 years ago. So, this team's this team. And I think that our team is different than what it was in midseason, different than what it was in December. I think the Giants are a different team than when we played them in November. I think they're a different team than they were in early December. So, I think this game is the elements of it are what we have in front of us, not what happened 2 months ago, not what happened 2 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, the build-up continues for the big game Sunday night right here on Channel 13, Super Bowl 46. Lucas Oil Stadium is the place to be. What's the latest on Peyton Manning, his future? We're going to talk to the owner, Jim Irsay, coming up after this right here on Eyewitness News. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Downtown Indianapolis is buzzing on a Monday night. Super Bowl week is finally here. We're outside the Giants Hotel. Many of the players have been kind of sneaking out the door here with baseball caps on, kind of meandering through downtown, which is kind of fun. Some of the lesser-known players able to sneak out on town to try to grab a little dinner tonight, which is kind of fun to see. What's the latest with Peyton Manning, Jim Irsay, the future of Mr. Manning? Rich Knight joins me now. He's over at Radio Row. Had a chance to talk with Jim Irsay today. Rich, good evening.
Yeah, Dave, welcome to Radio Row. This is where news from Indianapolis spreads all across the country on the AM and FM airwaves. Here at the Media Center today, the Super Bowl host committee talked about Indianapolis being the model for a new urban Super Bowl. Colts owner Jim Irsay, Governor Mitch Daniels, Mayor Greg Ballard, all a part of that news conference and talking about Peyton Manning's role in making Indianapolis a city that could host a Super Bowl.
When you guys are going to ask about a Peyton question, I was going to say, why don't you ask Mitch about his presidential run, if he's going to go for it. Mitch, any comments?
There's no way to really fully appreciate, I think, what number 18 or Jim have meant here over these years.
Jim, is there any deadline in deciding Peyton's future?
I'm not going to talk about Peyton. I think, when Peyton and I both talked, we got to focus on the Super Bowl this week. So, we want to focus on Patriots, Giants.
But of course, those questions will linger, Dave. Even at Eli Manning's press conference today, about half of the questions had his brother's name in them.
Thanks a lot, Rich. Yeah, everywhere you go, talking with the media, everybody talking about this Peyton Manning story. Tony Dungy talking about it today. Mr. Dungy basically saying if Peyton is healthy to play, he will play with the Colts. If he's not healthy enough, it's like he could retire. We'll continue to follow this story as it unfolds in the next couple of weeks. Latest news on Jim Caldwell, the former coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Latest word is that he will sign with the Ravens and be the quarterback's coach. How interesting is that? So congratulations, Jim Caldwell, expected to sign as the quarterback's coach with the Baltimore Ravens. We're downtown Indianapolis. Special show coming up at 7:30 tonight. Much more with Eli. The trophy's up for grabs. We'll be right back with more of Eyewitness News. Stay with us.